I've never made love to a peach, but
I just lost track of what I was going to say.
books, love, cozy.
Well, if you are interested in any laugh, he doesn't want my blanket anymore.
It's hot in here. It's light.
And we have a little thing where we go, and it just makes us laugh every single time.
I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know at all.
I'm gonna dive right back into her.
Yeah, I know. Well, those are our book recommendations of books that they are listed down below if you want to buy a copy of them wherever you can see. What?
Wherever you can see books. Hello.
Hello.
Happy V-Day.
It is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. We love you. Welcome back to our channel.
Hello. I am David.
And I'm Craig.
And we are Shelf Possessed. And today we're going to give you a very special video about love.
Books about love that we love.
And you're going to get a deeper look into our definition of love.
Yes, we realized in picking books that our definitions are very different. And books about love versus books that are strictly about romance. So there's a little bit of a difference, which you'll kind of see. So we want you to cozy on up, because we're going to talk about love.
Okay.
Can I talk about how much I love you?
No.
Well, we do have a list of books here that are either about love, reflect on love, or about romance in some way. And we're going to kind of share the books about love that we love the most. Neither one of us are huge, like, romance people necessarily. So those books tend to be few and far between in our library. But we do have lots of books that reflect on love or talk about love in some way. And we want to share them with you, because what would we be if we didn't recommend good books to our good people? If you are interested in any of these books or want to check them out, I'll leave a list in the description box below where you can check them out and purchase a copy for yourself. Some of these books you've heard us talk about in one way or another. Some of them maybe not, and so we hope that you kind of enjoy this list and that you'll pick some up and let us know what books you love. What books about love do you love? Down in the comments below, let us know so we can kind of check those out as well. We'd love to know more about what you love as well. Okay, what do you love? What are the things that you love?
Beauty.
Grace.
I like things that are just beautiful and grotesque. Those types of things. And I love you.
Because I'm beautiful.
No. Grotesque. Those are just I find beauty in grotesque things.
Like
not
me.
you. Not you. Not you. I mean, I love you. It's like I love beauty, I love grotesque, period, and then you.
Okay.
There's no similarities. I'm just saying my definition of love goes every which way.
Well, what do you love about me?
You make me laugh a lot. And I don't think anybody that I've been with has made me laugh so much on a daily basis.
Because I'm grotesque.
No. No, but I think even 6 years after getting married, I every day I still laugh and I'm happy with you. And your heart's really big. Sometimes
Enlarged
heart. No, I think the way that you love and you show your love, it's very aspirational to me, because I don't think I've ever really been that way before, but it teaches me how to kind of be that way.
That's very sweet.
What about me?
Okay, so the things I love about you are, well, it feels like I'm stealing an answer, but I love the way that you make me laugh. I love the way that that's the dumbest things we'll laugh about for weeks. The things that you love, that you love so intensely, it makes me happy. books, movies, all that stuff. Like, I love how much you care about my nieces and nephews and my family, and that means a lot to me and my friends. So I love everything about you. And that booty.
They've never seen it before. Unless you follow me on Instagram.
Just to recap a little bit, we're going to share some books about love that are centered around love that we happen to also love. So some of our books will overlap. Some of them are different. Some of them we don't have physical copies of anymore, so we'll just kind of throw up graphics of those books and tell you a little bit about them. So are you ready?
Ready. Why don't we start with some that overlap?
So the first book that we picked that actually happens to overlap is Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman. If you've not read Call Me By Your Name, it's beautiful. It's, you know, aesthetic. It's mood. It's like, it's very, very good. The idea of like the late 80s, early 90s in the Italian countryside and like coming of age love story between these two men was really powerful. And you read it before the movie, correct? Yeah.
So before, because he's a straight man, right? Straight author.
Yeah.
Writing about a gay male romance.
Yeah. Which I find to be a weird thing anyway, but it's written well. Like, the story is told well. I enjoyed, you know, what I read. So, like, I had a good time reading this book. I really enjoyed the movie a lot and was very moved by the movie. I think maybe I was more moved by the soundtrack, but the movie I think is great as well. So if you've not read Call Me By Your Name, it's steamy, it's beautiful, it's aesthetic, it's vibey. You know, I don't know. It's just I just love this book. I think it's great, and the romance between these two characters is great. So,
yeah. I don't know. When I read it at first, I thought it was okay, but then it kind of made me think a lot about Brokeback Mountain. And when we start talking about kind of love scenes, I don't know. I had a problem with a lot of the love scenes in Brokeback Mountain, but with the movie for Call Me By Your Name, I kind of had some problems on. Some people thought it was really hot and
I never
enjoyable,
thought that,
but I don't know. I kind of go back and forth with that book. I thought it was okay. It didn't like change my life,
right,
in a way.
I mean, I just remember when the movie came out and then when I read the book, I was like, I wish I would have found this book sooner, or I wish I would have read it sooner. I mean, originally published in 2007. Yeah, if I would have read this book in 2007, I think things would have been very different for me. Honestly, if I would have been able to, like, you know, find something like this. Because
the guy that I was dating during that time, that's what we were reading, because that was like the book that kind of came out that was like, you need to read this book if you're a gay man. And then I read and I was like, I don't see the big deal.
Our next book you've heard us talk about multiple times. You've even heard the author talk about it on our channel, and that is The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane. One of our favorite books from last year, like hands down. A gay romance that is not only a good romance novel, but also is like representative and showcases different kinds of love and different kinds of, you know, mental health. I think this is a great book. I think if you like reality dating shows, if you like gay romance, like, this is a perfect show. If you like reality shows and like gay romance novels, this is just a perfect novel for you. Like, I loved this book a lot.
And it was also characters that I've never read about before, so I think that was very appealing to me. And then talking with Allison was kind of fleshed those characters out for me even more.
Yeah. The next one is one that we both also loved as well. I think for a variety of reasons, but we did both love it, and that's Sweet Bitter by Stephanie Danler. You kind of argued with me that this maybe isn't about love necessarily.
Between two people. I don't think it's about love between two people.
It's not about romantic love.
Yeah. I think it's about love and her way of finding who she is and loving herself.
Yeah. And loving, you know, the life that you create for yourself, or the things that are around you, you know. I think that's super important to this book as well.
I think that's what's magical about, especially this book. Like, I read it when we weren't together. Or were we together?
We were together.
We were together.
Yeah.
But I think wherever you are in your life, I think, or whatever stage you are at in your life relationship-wise, I think you can take so much from that, whatever it is. She's the protagonist is a single woman in New York City, kind of looking for love, but I think ultimately she kind of finds that love for herself.
Yeah. And her love of wine.
Which I love.
Yeah. I just think, I mean, I haven't read a book. I haven't read a book like this in a while. I mean, you all know this. I read mostly horror books and thriller books and mysteries and all of that, and rarely do I read romance or even contemporary fiction. Very rarely. And there hasn't been a book in a long time that has, like, the prose, the writing has, like, made me fall in love with the author and the way the author writes, and this is one that did that for me. So, I mean, I'm also in love with the book in general. Like, this will forever be in my top list, I think.
Mine too.
Yeah. Our last one that we overlap on is another LGBT romance, which I think I talked about it in my song recommendation video, but that's the only time that I've talked about it, because we both read this book before we started the channel. So we haven't really spent that much time talking about it. And that's Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, which I loved. I really, really loved. And I avoided this book like the plague, because everyone was talking about it and everyone was going off about it and everyone was like, it's so great, it's so great. I was like, well, then I'm not going to read it because I'm a contrarian. And then I read it and I was like, okay, I get it. Now I understand, because it's great. Yeah. The only thing that bothers me about this book is the "and" on the cover is not in the same font as everything else.
Let me see. Oh yeah.
Doesn't it just look? It looks like it stands out.
Interesting.
That bothers me. But anyway, that has nothing to do with the content of the actual book. So, well, not so often. This book does kind of reimagine the American political system in a way, which I think we found refreshing after 2016. And I think even Casey McQuiston has talked about that. About that was kind of inspiring her to write the book. But yeah, I did not expect to love this book, and I did not expect it to, like, you know, mean something to me or for me to fall in love with these characters, but I really, really did, and I really loved, you know, where it was going, and I'm excited because she's writing another one. What are the things about books or in books or that books do that you love the most?
I like being surprised. That's number one. I think I really, really love unreliable narrators. I know you don't, but I do. Yeah. Which is why. See number one. So that's a few things that I kind of look for. And if it's a story that I've never read before, or a theme I've never read about before, I think that I love that.
Okay, good. So my next book is one I read probably 22 years ago. And I remember asking for it for Christmas from my aunt, because a friend in high school had read it and recommended it, and I was like, well, I want to be cool just like them. And so I asked for it, and I got it, and that is Written on the Body by Jeanette Winterson. This was originally published in 1992, and then I got it in 2000, I think, because my aunt wrote in the cover, "To Craig, best of luck in your journey to self-discovery. Christmas 2000." And this book is both a love story, and it is about finding yourself, and it's really about an affair that kind of consumes this unnamed narrator and genderless narrator, and it is about sex, and it is about passion, and it is about discovering your body and what you love. And I remember being a 19-year-old reading this and saying, this is what love should be. I even underlined things in here back when I read it the first time. I told him that this is the quote that I underlined on 10/17 of 2004. There is nothing so sweet as wallowing in it, is there? Wallowing is sex for depressives. That line has obviously stood the test of time. So, yeah, I haven't ever read anything else by Jeanette Winterson, even though I know we have a couple of things because you've purchased them. But I think this book is great, and
I don't think I've read this.
You should read it. It's beautiful. Like, yeah, you want to talk about prose and, like, because it is fiction. It's not like, it's not like a how-to guide or anything like that. So yeah, that's Written on the Body. If you haven't read it, read it. Also read other Jeanette Winterson stuff. It's all really beautiful. So
The passion is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
My next book is... I read this play very early on in high school, and then I saw that there was going to be a production of it in my city, so I went to go see that. I kind of lied, said I was going to go see something else, and I went to go see this instead, borrowing the family car to go see it, and that is Les Liaisons dangereuses. This was the translation by Christopher Hampton, but I remember reading this in high school, and then once I found out that a play was going to be done of it, I immediately had to go see it live. Deals with sex and power, and that was kind of like the first time, was I 14, 16, I think, just learning about love, but also learning about sex and how you can use sex as power, and this was very enlightening for me on how you can actually do that.
You didn't pick it because Cruel Intentions?
No, I always go for this first. And if you're going to watch a movie version of it,
No, I'm
watch...
saying, did you read this?
No.
Because of Cruel Intentions?
Because when did that come out? That came out in like
98?
98? No, I wasn't allowed to go see that. Because I was underage. So, but I saw that later.
Well, that's the reason I read Dangerous Liaisons, is because of Cruel Intentions. Because when I found out that it was based on that, I was like, well, now I have to read Cruel Intentions.
No, I saw the movie with Glenn Close and Michelle Pfeiffer, which another fantastic film.
Piggybacking on that, my next choice is also a book of plays. It's actually weird because I think all of the plays in this book actually are reflective of love in some way, one way or the other. And that is The Clean House and Other Plays by Sarah Ruhl. This is a great collection if you need an introduction to Sarah Ruhl. This is the way to go. The first play I ever read in this book was Eurydice, which is Sarah Ruhl's retelling of the Orpheus and Eurydice myth, and that play has broken my heart a million times. I saw it in Chicago with my grad school classmates and was brokenhearted. Read it. I did a production of it with my classmates, and then I did another production of it, and then I've read it with my students. And every time I read that play, I just weep because it's so beautiful. The language is beautiful. The story is beautiful. This idea of like loving someone so much that you'll journey to hell and back to get them back. He is the Orpheus to my Eurydice.
I'm the Orpheus.
Orifice. But if you don't know who Sarah Ruhl is, you should learn. Like I know asking people to read plays is sometimes a little bit tough and weird, but like this book is brilliant. These plays are brilliant. The Clean House is beautiful, and it's about love and death and like the relationships that you create in your life. Late Cowboy Song is a production that he worked on when he started his PhD program, and is beautiful as well. The language is beautiful.
So good.
Yeah. And then the last one in here, which is called Melancholy Play, is very sad and about what it means to kind of wallow in the loss of love. But Eurydice is like the best play in here, and I would recommend that everyone read it. And it's just, I don't know, Sarah Ruhl is just an amazing playwright, one of my favorite playwrights ever. So
mine too.
Yeah.
I'm also going to be reading her memoir next month. Her memoir, Smile.
Yeah, The Story of a Face. Yeah, she's amazing. I got to meet her in Chicago, actually, and she's just as amazing in person as she is, yeah.
Just a beautiful, beautiful playwright.
Yeah. So read those if you haven't. I will, link this book below for you too. So yeah. Well, this is a book you've seen on our channel at least twice because I've tried to get him to read it, and I loved it. So that is The City Baker's Guide to Country Living. I also have the second book of this by this author. I don't know that it's a direct sequel, but I do have the second book. I haven't read it yet, but we love Gilmore Girls. We love The Town of Stars Hollow. We love that kind of like cozy, New England vibe. And this book is that in a nutshell. It is about a woman who lives in I think New York City, and she's a chef, and she wants to kind of get away, and she finds this hotel inn thing in I think it's in Vermont. In Guthrie, Vermont. and she takes a job there baking for them, and and she meets some of the locals and kind of falls in love, and it's just very cozy and very beautiful, and like it's nothing that's going to like challenge you necessarily, but it's something that you can like, it's like falling into a blanket. This book is falling into a blanket. Yeah. I mean, if that's something that you love, and if that's something that you can kind of get into, then you should do it. I hate to compare it to a Hallmark movie, because Hallmark movies seem super cheesy and kind of ridiculous, but it has that kind of like feel to it. Like it's very warm, it's very blankety. That's not a word, but yeah, it's just great. I loved this book very much, and I found myself just really, really entranced by the descriptions of the places and the characters, and I just wanted to move there. So I loved it. Yeah. My next one is one that you just saw in our wrap-up, because I just read it, which was The Song of Achilles, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it because I just talked about it, but this romance in this novel, while maybe not historically possible, or maybe it didn't even happen, it just feels very natural. It feels beautiful. The connection between these two men, well, they're boys at first and then they become men. The connection between them is just, I thought it was great. I loved that part of it. I loved the description of, their feelings for each other, and it made me, I don't know, it made me happy. So yeah, Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Read that one if you haven't either.
Mm-hmm. My last one is right here.
Yeah, topographic.
Right here. And that is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
See, different definitions of love.
Do you know why that is my favorite?
Why?
Do you have any guesses? Any clues?
Mina?
I do love... Well, Mina's not my favorite character.
Winona Ryder?
Well, in the film, I think in the Francis Ford Coppola movie, I think that's more of a love story. Mm-hmm. The book is not so much, because like Liaisons, Dracula, the book is kind of told through like letters and correspondence and articles as well. So that's what I kind of loved about it when I first read it. But it's the love between, Jonathan Harker and Mina, Dracula, and kind of everybody else. It was also the first time that I kind of had this glimpse of two men being very intimate with each other without the sex. Mm-hmm. But there was penetration because of the biting. Yeah. So I love that, because that was also in our house, and I could read it without hiding under the blankets or hiding in a corner somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, it's Dracula, that's really cool. Yeah, I keep reading that. And it's like, but have you read it? Yeah. There's some great sexual stuff in here. So but yeah.
But vampirism is ultimately about sex and passion and like love in general, like
youth.
It's a way of like being intimate with someone without having sex with them, and like, I don't know, showing affection, I guess, in some way. So, like, it makes sense to me.
And but I think that's one of the first books that, besides Flowers in the Attic, of course, but that I kind of loved, that I had with me for a very long time.
We have, a chunk of books here that if you love love and you love reading about love, you should read these books. They're great. They're all very perfect. You've heard us talk about many of these books, which I think is wonderful, but if there's something new on here that you haven't experienced, you should check them out, because it's always good to kind of challenge ourselves and read outside of our comfort zones. And
read a play.
Yeah, read a play. Pick up the Sarah Rule book if you haven't, and read that, because I think you'll love it. Love it, love it, love it. So,
I have a question for you. Okay. So how has your definition of love changed pre-marriage to post-marriage?
That's an easy question. It's not even pre-marriage. It was like pre-meeting you versus not after meeting you. My definition of love, what before I thought was something completely different. I thought it was just like, I don't know, passion, like desire, sexual desire. And then when I met David, the first...
It all went down.
No. The first, like, we had our first couple of dates, and then he would... because he lived in a different city at the time, and so he would travel back and forth between where I lived and where he lived. And the first time I remember, I kissed him goodbye, and he got in the car and drove away. And for the next 45 minutes, I was on edge and scared. I was fearful that something would happen to him. I was afraid that, that I wouldn't get to see him again. And that is when I knew that I was in love with this person, because
And I was a horrible driver.
I just didn't want to lose him. I was nervous about losing him. And I think even to this day, if he goes to teach, even if he's driving 45 minutes, 30 minutes away, I still get nervous. I still get worried. When I was gone for 3 days, we talked every day and multiple times a day, but it was still like that anxiousness of driving home, and like that I would get to see him again. And then when we saw each other, it was like we hadn't seen each other in months. It was weird. And I was like, oh, that's what love is. That's love is being afraid to lose this thing that you have, because of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm just afraid to lose it now that I have it. So what about you?
Love is almost like holding up a mirror to yourself, and you're seeing all the good stuff and all the bad stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And have to kind of come to terms with that, and how the other person sees you. You kind of, after a while, you kind of see yourself in that way, and that helps you kind of gauge, okay, how you kind of react to stuff, or how to do stuff, or, listening, I think, is another one that I think I've learned a lot.
What did you say?
Of.
Well, I think I can safely speak for both of us when I say I think we both feel like we're pretty lucky to have found each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we are very lucky that we found someone who is just as in love with books as the other one was, like that loves reading as much as the other one does. So
Mm-hmm.
This has become, our new kind of shared passion outside of like theater. Well, those are our book recommendations of books about love that we love, because we love each other. We love you. Thank you for coming back to our channel. We hope you'll check out these books. They are listed down below if you want to purchase a copy of your own. And comment below and tell us, again, what books about love do you love, and what books should we check out, because we want to love new things as well. Mm-hmm. And you should also check us out on Instagram.
At shelf_possessed.
We're going to post some more pictures, probably about pictures of us and being in love. But thank you for coming back. I'm Craig.
And I'm David.
We are Shelf Possessed, and we can't wait to see you next time. Bye.
All the love. Mm.